The pop cultural discussion for the remainder of 2011 looks to be partially dominated by a curious subject: staples of European pop culture being reconstituted into big-budget American movie productions. This August, we've already got The Smurfs, a feature spin-off of the famous Belgian cartoon characters inexplicably displaced from nationally neutral fantasy setting to New York City in the present-day United States. Also from mighty Belgium comes Tintin, with Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson teaming up to turn the legendary Hergé comics into a pair of CGI animated epics. There's already talk of an American remake of Norway's magnificent Troll Hunter, which is a lousy idea in my opinion, and in December, the wave will crest in what's almost certainly going to be one of the most talked about films of the year: David Fincher's English-language adaptation of the best-selling Swedish crime thriller, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Now, when I've said in the past you can make a good movie out of anything, I've meant it, and I include other movies in that calculus. That being said, I can appreciate how Americanized remakes might be annoying in principle. Fairly or not, the American pop cultural export already dominates huge chunks of the world's popular culture. Why should we need to borrow other people's creations too? Never mind the fact that oftentimes Hollywood's attempts at Americanization go wrong. Really, really, really wrong. But you know what gets comparatively little attention in all this? The fact that while America is clearly ahead in the foreign remake wars, it's not at all a one-sided fight. Plenty of countries have made their own movies out of American pop culture, in many cases creating oddball masterpieces of their very own, and perhaps scoring some karmic vengeance for the likes of, say, Dragon Ball Evolution. Now, everyone remembers Japanese studio Toho borrowing America's favorite mega-ape for King Kong vs. Godzilla, but how many folks know that the 1960s King Kong cartoon was Japanese as well? In fact, it was the first anime ever produced for an American TV studio. They also produced a feature film spin-off of said anime, King Kong Escapes, giving Kong an appropriately manga-esque nemesis, Mecha Kong. Look at him. Look at him. Is that not the most awesome giant robot monkey thing you have ever seen? Also from Japan in 1978 came the live-action version of Spider-Man from Toei. They kept the costume but changed up the origin story so that now Spidey got his powers from a good alien to fight an army of evil aliens. He also had a spaceship that transformed into a robot, which came in handy when the aliens would grow to giant size a la the popular Ultraman series from the same era. Toei ended up liking the spandex-clad superhero plus giant robot concept so much they built an entire original franchise around it, Super Sentai, which Westerners may be more familiar with as Power Rangers, and which continues to this day. And it's not just nerd ephemera either. Zhang Yimou's Imperial-era Chinese action comedy A Woman, a Gun, and a Noodle Shop was a remake of the classic Coen Brothers crime thriller Blood Simple. The Longest Yard got a British remake in the form of Mean Machine. Even Groundhog Day got remade in Italy as Stork Day. But hell, those are all pretty mainstream. You guys want to see the weird stuff, right? Alright, here we go. From Indonesia comes Lady Terminator. She's exactly like the regular Terminator, except she's a lady, and possessed by an ancient sorceress instead of being a robot from the future. Other than that, same thing though. Fun fact about this movie: I'd like to show you some clips, but it's actually pretty nasty, so I can't. Alright, the scenes you're watching right now are from the Indian pseudo-spin-off Fight Club Members Only. Don't get too excited, they pretty much only kept the title and the angry young dude's underground fighting angle from the David Fincher movie. Speaking of India, thanks to the popularity of older Bollywood productions as ironic hipster movie night fodder, many of you have probably heard of the Indian Superman. Okay, what about Turkish Superman? Or hell, Turkish Star Wars? Oh yeah, for a while there, the Turkish movie industry was the king of this stuff, culminating in what may be the weirdest unlicensed pop cultural mashup of all time, Three Dev Adam. Roughly translated as Three Mighty Men, Three Dev Adam finds Istanbul under siege by the evil criminal mastermind, Spider-Man, who seems to be a magnet for these things. How evil is Turkish Spider-Man? He tortures his enemies by having trained guinea pigs eat their eyeballs. Yes, that happens. The only thing that can stop him is an international coalition of heroes, including El Santo, the ultimate legend of Mexican wrestling movies and actual Mexican wrestling. And also, yes, Captain America. Alright, show of hands. Who would have called him as the least likely character to have shown up in this episode? Anyway, this really only scratches the surface of what's out there, but I think you get the idea. In this new global age of popular culture, who can really say how long the lines between original, remake, reboot, and even ripoff are going to remain so clearly delineated? Other than copyright lawyers, I mean, obviously. You know, it's funny, I get the sense that there's at least one noteworthy foreign remake of an American franchise that I forgot to mention. Like a really obvious and interesting one. Oh man, it's right on the tip of my tongue, too, you know? This is gonna bug me. Oh well, if I should think of it, I'll be sure to let you know in a future episode. I'm Bob, and that's The Big Picture.